Hello there guys, it's Michael again, and Phil has found himself in a little bit of drama, as he would want to do. Let us quickly recap. Thanksgiving. He was asking for $16,000 so he could show to the bank that he has the mortgage out with on his Washington home that he has some steady income and that Twitch is stable. $16,000 in the space of I believe the deadline for it is April, and ever since he's been floating that idea about, it's been kind of it's basically just been out in the open that he is kind of on a bit of a fundraising kick. I'm not going to point out any of the flaws with his scheme to get $16,000 in such a short space of time in order to show a bank that his income is stable, because you can see the logic in $16,000 in the space of 4 months that might even come sooner, and in how stable that might look to a lending business, you know what I mean? But he has himself an anonymous donation request, an email from this Michael Titone, who I did have a look to see if there was anything for that name, because he mentions in this email that he has a business. He is not a real person. It is a troll, as you'd like to expect. Not many of Phil's fans are likely to have $9,000 to willingly give to him, because that well's dried up. Even in the good old days, there was nobody with $9,000. I believe Vidar in the space of a year could only manage 2,000. So yeah, it's suspicious, and Phil kind of calls him out on it in his follow-up. But there's also a little bit of a weirdness to it that was quite interesting to follow up on. In this email, Michael asks, right, I do want to send this donation to you, but I'm not too sure about Twitch. Twitch themselves are they'll have handled $9,000 transactions before. They'll be fine with it. But Michael advised he would prefer to go through Western Union or something along those lines. So he was after some advice on how to basically donate to Phil. So Phil responds with a pre-stream. It gets interesting here, Phil's response, in terms of he asks basically not to send it via cheering or even PayPal. Michael wasn't asking to do that, but Phil reiterates how cheering takes too long to clear. It doesn't. If you've got a deadline between now and April to get the 16,000 together to show to the bank, it takes I believe 22 days or something along those lines. It's not insurmountable, it's a matter of weeks. As for PayPal, he's quite correct, that can be charged back. And that's happened quite a lot to Phil. But he asks if they could send if he's got a personal or business checkbook, write it out, then Phil can check it whenever he wants. Or Western Union, which is a bit more secure, but he doesn't know about any fees or limitations, which I guess means he doesn't want to pay a fee on it. And he has some suspicions. He asks here, if it's 100% serious, could you please do it after the 1st of January? Reason being that it puts him puts it on the books of his 2019 income and not 2018. Little bit sketchy there, Phil. Especially when you consider it doesn't matter when that comes, you're still going to have to pay tax on it. Are you anticipating that next year's income tax bill is going to be smaller than this year's? I don't know what his reasoning is behind that. But it's ultimately, I think it's just his way of saying he wants to put off tomorrow what he can do today. He says there that if a check comes in, he can cash it in any time, and it's great. Oh, I should probably backtrack here, but Michael did advise that, hey, you know, if you want to basically mention this on the stream, by all means, go ahead and do it. I encourage it, as a troll might want to do, to, you know, get in on the drama. Phil advises against this, to say keep it 100% behind the scenes, saying that if anyone, you know, if he was legit, people would seek him out, which has happened in prior occasions, most notably with Vidar, Osmig, and all that. They won't make. Here's the thing: if they're getting information about him, they'll make his life a living hell. But not well. Phil's getting as much bother as he can get, really. So it doesn't really change anything for him. But it's like it has to be about him. And it's weird. Hopefully you are real, and this would really. I mean, you could have said this in a lot less words, and just said, "Hey, thanks. If it comes through, much appreciated." Instead of this weird sense of emotional blackmail and postponing the actual donation to hit his account when, you know, in the new year. It's bizarre. And then Phil responds with a twit longer. Starts out by saying he's been catfished. He has not been catfished. Catfish is where the money goes in the other direction, where you are paying them. He should know this. Somebody attempted to catfish him at the start of the year. He mentions other emails and messages that have come in. This is the first one that's been public, so, and unless this is some kind of template, I'm not too sure how legit those other ones were in terms of actual contact. Phil goes on to say this is, you know, out of context, and, you know, he wasn't the one that was requesting the whole thing to be kept private. The thing I'll say about that is, I mean, he's responding to it. So something's come out, and it's just come out in a matter of, like, in the last 24 hours. But that's a off-screen capture. And the other two are screen caps. So you could imagine there may be a little bit potential there for that to be fake news. But still, Phil's responding to it in a way that only Phil can. And it paints a picture of just a cycle of trolling, and then Phil responding to trolling, and just creating more drama. It's like a wormhole of just complete and utter idiocy. That's still getting recorded, and it's got decent volume. Hurrah! Stop.